Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you beautiful people are in the world. We're coming to you live. We're just past 3 p.m. in the UK time, where I promised just before the weekend that I was going to deliver an in-depth lead gen training. Basically, I'm going to show you today what we do inside the portal, inside our 6-month mentorship program, how to generate high-quality leads ready to invest into your iTicket offer using our social selling system. So just before we jump into this, I just want to double check that I am live. Everything is running, operating as it should be before I dive into this, because I've got a lot of stuff to share with you in the next maybe 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes maximum. So I'm just going to have a quick drink and then we'll jump into this because I've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's been a very talkative day today, so I'm very thirsty. Right. If you are here with me live, let me know. Hashtag live. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you are catching this on a replay, again, let me know. Hashtag replay. Let me know where you're coming in from. If you are loving what I'm sharing today, let me know. Right? Let me know. I like a little bit of love. So if you sat on the fence, right, it's time to step up and to show that you're here. It's time to not hide in the shadows. You can't build a business hiding in the shadows, right? So if you're here, if you're watching this, let me know that you're watching this either live or replay. If you've got any questions around what I'm talking about today, then ask those questions in this post as well. And whenever you ask those questions, I'll get a notification and I will jump in and answer those for you. So first and foremost, let me know you're here and let me know, can you hear me? Right? Is everything working? Is all the tech working? Okay. Is this bad boy working here? Right. I'm going to, without further ado, because I have got a lot to share and I don't want to waste your time. And I've got a lot of things to do after this. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to share a document that I created earlier for you guys. So let's get to this, right? Let's jump into this. Let me just make sure that my screen's being shared. A little bit of a lag on my iPad, but it looks like it is sharing. So we're all good to go. Right. Let's do this, right? So how to generate high quality leads ready to invest into your iTicket offer using our social selling system. First and foremost, let me know if that is something of interest to you. Let me know if like generating high quality leads and selling at a high ticket price point is your priority when it comes to generating sales and growing your business. Let me know. In fact, give me a 10. Give me a 10 if that is your priority. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to walk through the exact roadmap that we use, that clients use to take to close iTicket sales using our coaching. To close iTicket sales in their coaching business using our social selling system. This includes an overview of the client acquisition backend system as well. What I'm going to do now, what I'm not going to do on this training is I am not going to skimp on information. Right? You've probably been on a lot of trainings like this. I'm not naive to believe that this is the only training that you've been on and this is the only group that you're part of. Right? I know that that's not the truth. But what I do know for fact is, because I'm in other groups as well, is like other people, when they deliver their trainings, they skimp on information. They only give you part strategy and not the full solution, and you need the full solution, right? So that's not me. My whole intention with any training that I've ever done, and you can look through like all the other trainings that's inside this group, inside the community, just go to the guides and check out the existing trainings. I don't hold back information. My main like mission is to give you what you need when you need it in order to grow your business. And in order for that to happen, you need the full solution, right? Me just giving you part strategy isn't going to serve you, and it's not going to serve me as well as an expert in the marketplace as a coach. So we're going to talk about big problems that you face today. If you haven't already hit your 100K in coaching sales, this is like, you might think, well, why is that important? It is important because if you can't identify that this is the problem, right, you don't know what problem to solve. So by me shining light on the problem that you're facing right now, it allows you to see that, okay, so that is a problem. Andy says that is a problem. So I need to fix that problem so you can move forward, right? I'm going to show you number 3, understanding the audience and where they are as in buyers, in the buyer's journey, and what you need to do to convert them into buyers. And the exact post types that we use to generate leads, book calls, and make high-ticket sales. So if all of that is of interest to you for where you're at, then you're in the right place. So first things first, right? What we're not going to cover, or what we're not going to have a conversation about inside this training, is your typical opt-in page sales funnel, right? We don't use those for where we are in business. And to be honest with you, if you've not hit your first 100K, 200K in coaching sales, neither should you be either. We're not going to be talking about webinars. We're not going to be talking about building challenges. We're not going to be talking about writing email marketing campaigns. We're not going to be talking about creating podcasts, recording YouTube videos and uploading them to obviously YouTube. We're not going to be talking about paid media, Facebook ads, or any other ads for that fact. I used to run a very successful agency, paid media agency, so I know all about ads. And I also know, again, if you haven't hit your first 100K in coaching sales right now, then you shouldn't be wasting your time investing money in ads unless you've got a bucket load of money to burn to waste. Because today you need a lot of money in order to make those babies work. So our clients, let's have a look at some of our clients' results, right? So Mo, if you've been following me for recently, right? So these are some of the recent wins, right? Mo closed her first 12K client. Mo actually gave herself a $7,000 pay rise, right? She increased her prices from $5,000 to $12,000 and closed her. She actually increased them to $14,500, if I believe correctly, right? But she closed the client at $12,000. Amazing, right? Julie closed 54,000 in the last 100 days. Mary closed 24K in less than 30 days. And then she went on to doing 36K in less than 50 days. Caesar closes his highest sale at 9.5K. Then his biggest sale at 16K in just less than 19 days working with us. Like we're talking about high-ticket sales here. If you are not a coach that wants to sell high-ticket sales, then this is not for you. I don't want to waste your time. Potentially there's other trainings out there that's going to best serve you if you just want to sell your offer, your coaching at a low ticket price point. So you'll be pleased to know that all these results that I've just shared with you right now, and you can also look inside the group, right, and go to guides, look at client wins, and you'll see like case study after case study, screenshot after screenshot after screenshot of clients closing high ticket sales. You'll be pleased to know that all of my clients' results aren't using any of these typical internet marketing strategies, tactics, or whatever. Right now, they all work, and I'm not poo-pooing them. They all work, but they all work when you've got the right infrastructure down in business, when you've validated everything to do with your business, when your business is at a certain level, right? And you've got the capacity to bring on more people. But if you haven't validated your offer, your message, your pricing, your client acquisition strategy, and all that stuff, if you're not that very good at closing in sales, then the last thing that you need is any of that stuff right now. So let's move down. So this is the only thing that you need right now in order to close your first or second 100K in sales. So let me just have a quick check in here. Is anybody around? Let me know if there's any questions. And if you're loving what I'm talking about already, and I'm not even jumped into the meats and bones of this, then let me know. So these are the things that you need. These are the things that you need, right? And I've split it down into 4 simple areas. So you need a solid offer. You need a solid offer that is market fit. right? Now, this is what I call the foundations of your business. And it's simple, right? There's no complexity in building this out at all. And it shouldn't take you long to build it out either. But a solid offer, right, is simply you're solving a specific problem, you're delivering a specific result for a specific client, specific person, right? So you need that in place. Now, that is a whole training in itself. So we're not going to be digging into the minutiae of these 4 steps here. So from a high level, this is what you need, right? But we're simplifying it. Number 2, you need to be able to position that offer with a premium price tag. Example of that is between $3,000 and $16,000. Can be even higher, right? But as an upfront offer, what we do not do is offer low-level ticket products or low-level ticket items, right? We bypass all of that. While the internet marketers are selling low ticket offers, right? We bypass that and we jump straight into high ticket world. So, and like when we're talking about offers as well, $3,000 today for a coach is not high ticket offer. For me, really, high ticket offer starts at, it's really up to like $8,000, right? I think that's really where, if you're high ticket, that's where you would be expected to be. That's where you would be expected to be. Anything above that, it's like, 3,000 mid-tier, right? But it's definitely not high tier in today's world. So when it comes to pricing, it's important that you get your economics right. Because look at it this way. If you are out there right now trying to hit $10,000 months or trying to hit your first 100K or 200K in coaching sales, right now, you don't have the infrastructure to support hundreds and hundreds of new clients every month at $100 or $200 or even $500, right? To reach those 10K months, because you need a lot of clients at that level in order to make that that monthly revenue possible. So, and chances are you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the bandwidth, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the team to support all of that to make it actually work. So economically, it doesn't make sense. You're going to burn yourself out very, very quickly. B, right, selling high is the fastest way to hit your 100K in sales. It's the easiest way to hit your 100K in sales, simplest way to make that possible. You don't need, what you need right now, right, you need large chunks of regular cash flow. If you're selling, like, even if you were selling the $5,000, how many clients do you need each and every month in order to make that possible? In order for you to hit 10K months? It's easy math, right? That's why I picked that number. But again, right, so if you wanted to hit 20K months, how many do you need? If you wanted to hit 30K months, how many do you need? Not a lot. So if we look at it from the back end, you don't need a lot of clients in order to hit 10K months or 20K months selling at a 5K price point. If you're selling an 8K price point, you need less. But that means when you reverse engineer back the process, you need less conversations, you need less sales calls, you need less conversations, you need less lead flow. So again, that's why it's the fastest, the simplest, and it's the easiest. Makes sense. And also as well, right, the biggest reason why most businesses sink today is due to lack of cash flow. Businesses need cash flow to survive. If you don't have cash flow to survive, you need a plan B quick. And you shouldn't need a plan B. If everything is arranged, organized, and set up and engineered in order to make sales, as in starting off with the right foundations, everything can work. Absolutely. So then we're moving into number 3, which is the social selling strategy. So now this is what I call the infrastructure. So the infrastructure of your business is, number 1, you need to be able to have direct access to your target market. If you don't have the direct access to your target market, it's going to be very, very hard to reach your market. And one of the reasons why a lot of coaches struggle today is because, 1, they don't have number 1 in place. So because they don't have number 1 in place, they find it hard to actually identify who their target market is, who their ideal client is, and they cannot pinpoint exactly where they're hanging out. But what we do is that because the way that we set the foundations up correctly straight out of the gate, it's very easy to understand where their target market is hanging out. I'm going to show you an example of how to get mass market attention using organic. So it's self-explanatory. This is not rocket science. I didn't create this, but this is something that I've been doing for years and years and years and years. It works. It will always work. And there's no reason why it's not going to work for you too. So you need to find pockets of groups where your target market is hanging out. So lots like Facebook groups, right? So you're probably thinking, Andy, I already know that, and then that's cool. So if it's not working for you, you've got to ask yourself, why is it not working for you? Why is it not working for you when it's working for the people? But you need to find these pockets of groups. So there's two options here. You've got the free groups and you've got the paid groups. They both work, but if you look at the second option, right, paid groups is giving you direct access to buyers. It's giving you direct access to people that's actually already invested into a solution that potentially you can solve for them, but they've invested at a low ticket front-end offer. So they've invested at a low ticket price point into a low ticket offer. Low ticket offers don't necessarily deliver the full solution. So there's going to be thousands of people inside those paid communities that are not getting their problem solved. So that's where you can come in and you can go into those groups, and with the right strategy, you can attract them towards you, and you can actually then provide them with this full solution. So you got two options there. And then B, you actually need client converting marketing assets. These are what we actually call power content. If you are not showing up in the marketplace and providing value to your marketplace, right, then how can you expect for people to know your genius? How can you expect them how do you expect them to see the value in what you can bring to their world? How can you expect them to know, right, that this is your genius, this is your power, this is your greatness, this is your expertise? I'm just going to grab a drink. So you need to be showing up in the world with client converting marketing assets, power content, right? So there's three levels of this. The first one is where you get mass market exposure content, right? So there's market exposure content. This is where you're going into cold marketplaces where people don't know you, as in like the free groups and the paid groups. They don't know you, they don't trust you, they don't know you exist, they know nothing about you and your business, right? So this is how you went to the marketplace to get mass market exposure. Everyone starts here. Nobody can ever bypass this, right? It doesn't matter what you do. There's always the first time that somebody's going to see you, hear you, and like experience you. But you need that. Then the second level of content is expert positioning content sequence. And then the third is the client converting content. It's an asset, right? Something similar to this, but at each level, right, they are all assets, and each level is, each bit of content is designed, structured, and engineered in order for it to do its job, whether that's to get exposure, whether that is to nurture them and to shine your expertise on them, right, and to add value, or whether it is to actually convert them to a booked call into a client. And then C, right, you need to be making offers daily. Now, let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time that you made an offer to the marketplace? When was the last time that you made an offer to the marketplace? Let me know underneath this training today. In fact, give me, just tell me, when was the last time? Have you made an offer today? If so, how many? Have you made an offer this week? If so, how many? Have you made any offers this month? There's a lot of coaches out there when I speak to them. When was the last time you made an offer to the marketplace? Well, I'm not supposed to make offers to the marketplace. We're not supposed to sell. We're just supposed to add value, and then we'll let people, attract people. And well, if you bought into the attraction marketing model, which 80% of that is flawed, right? Because you just can't expect people to rock up in your DMs and just send you That's not a way to create a sustainable business, right? You need to be out there as well as positioning value and showcasing value and offering value to the marketplace. You also need to be making offers as well. So making offers, right? Chatting with warm and hot prospects daily. One thing that we do not do is, like, we do not cold DM strangers, right? Yes, we use DMs, heavily use DMs. And if you're not using DMs inbox, then you should be missing out and you're getting left behind. And if you don't, and if you don't like it, then that's like, you could probably potentially got a mindset issue. You hung up around why you shouldn't be using that. And that's potentially a personal problem that's reflecting in you not doing that, and not necessarily a business problem. So yeah, making offers is all about chatting with warm and hot prospects daily, right? Adding value, building trust, asking filtering questions to pre-qualify your prospects before you actually invite to a call to make offers, right? If it's a fit. So those things there is what you need on the front end and kind of on the back end, but then as well, right, which not a lot of people know about, and if they do, they definitely don't tell you, especially on a free training like today, is a client acquisition funnel. Again, I'm calling it a funnel, but it's not your typical funnel as like with a lead page or a lead magnet, or this is like our backend system. This is our backend system that increases your show rate by over 90%. It increases sales by 60%. When typically coaches, right, they get a lot of no-shows, or they attract broke prospects onto a call where they don't know what they do. So they've actually got to start then explaining what they do, justifying what they do, or they give them the price point and they're too expensive and the prospect leaves and you never hear from them again, right? We don't use that, right? We use a very sophisticated client acquisition funnel that increases show rates and increases sales. I'm going to break that down for you now. It's simple. It's simple. That's right. So we use a Calendly scheduler. There's nothing like rocket science about that. Maybe you've got one as well. Where first and foremost, a prospect can go and they can pick a date and a time. That's cool, right? That's self-explanatory. But then on the back end of that is that we have 8 or 10 pre-qualifying questions. Typically, right, coaches don't have this. Typically, you don't have pre-qualifying questions. If you do the wrong questions, they're not really pre-qualifying them. Or if you don't have the questions, you probably just got like name, email address, and one other thing, which tells me what is the problem or whatever it is. I don't know, but it's non-specific. And it doesn't really give you enough information to be able to filter out, well, can you really help this person? Does it really, can you really understand what's wrong with this person and the level of seriousness, the commitment level, and all other things, right? But you need pre-qualifying questions. Then after that as well, once somebody's booked in, you need a follow-up message sequence that Calendly gives you, but not a lot of people use, right? Which is crazy because you're paying for it anyway. That gives them specific instructions, providing expectations for the call, right? Leading up to the call. And then we also have what we call a shock and awe page. Now, again, I didn't create this. I paid a lot of money for this quite a few years ago. And again, right, I've had this in place for quite a few years. So again, if you don't have things like this set up in place, this is what I call the infrastructure of your business. You're going to lose a lot of sales, right? So typically what happens when somebody books a call, and potentially this is what happens with you, when somebody books a call with you, they just get sent to a static page in Calendly, and then they go off somewhere else, right? The prospect leaves somewhere else. But what happens in your prospect's mind there and then. They're like, okay, so what happens next? Well, what we do is we send them to what we call a shock and awe pages, which is just basically a redirect page, where on that page we position them with a video at the top of the page, which explains what's going to happen next. Okay, which pre-frames them for the call. It coaches them. It breaks down objections. It handles objections in advance of the call, so they know what's happening on the call, We also give them a walkthrough of a client success pathway, so they know exactly that we've got a solution that can solve their problem. And then we give them underneath that a whole heap of client case studies and interviews, so they can see that our solution that we just position them with, the walkthrough, works, right? So it edifies everything that we do prior to the conversation. So they're hanging around. There's a lot of psychology built inside that shock and awe page, and why that shock and awe page exists, which I'm not going to get into in this video, into this training. So now let's just quickly, from a 30,000 foot viewpoint, let's look at this roadmap. So if I just zoom in here, just to make this a little bit clearer for you guys. So again, right, it's mission critical. You can generate 10 at minimum, right, 10 qualified appointments per week. So we've got targeted traffic, we've got client converting sales assets, right, educational material, we've got qualifying conversation follow-up, right, which is, we've got a systematic CRM system, which I'm going to quickly walk and talk you through that. And then we've got the client acquisition call funnel, which is the shock and awe page, right? So we've got free audiences, we've got paid audiences. We've also got other strategies in order to be able to generate mass amount of traffic, because you need traffic. We've also, inside the client converting sales assets, we've got first and foremost the 12-day expert positioning content sequence, and then we pivot into 12-day promo content sequence, and then mixed and amongst all of that, we've got core signature offer asset trainings. Again, very similar to what I'm walking and talking through right now. And then it's not a case of that you just post content and just sit back and wait for things to happen. Social media at that level doesn't work. Right? You might get a drib and drab of people sending you a DM, but not a lot of people, right? But if you want a consistency of sales each and every week or each month, then you need to be able to take control of your business. So that's where we have a systematic follow-up system, a CRM relationship management system that allows us to book calls on a regular basis. And then once people book calls and they go through and they position with the shock and awe page, right? So there's a breakdown of all the process. So that is like the system in what we use just to simplify everything. And it might sound a little bit complex, right? But believe me, that is a lot simpler than going down the internet, the typical internet marketing road of like having to set all this up. And especially when you've not validated things within inside your business. And at this stage as well, potentially as well, your skill set level, right, is relatively low. So you need to get into the trenches and understand what works, what doesn't work. And you need to be able to build your skill level, generate sales quickly. It doesn't take long to like build all this stuff out. So if you haven't hit your first 100K in sales yet, right, you've got a list of problems that you face. Number one, right, you'll lack focus on strategies and daily tasks. Right now, you might be jumping from group to group to group to group to group. Each influencer or host of the group is positioning you with a different strategy. So you can't focus on any specific strategy because you've got all these strategies that you're trying to execute on, and you execute a little bit of this and it doesn't work. So you try this one, it doesn't work. You try this one, it doesn't work. But the thing is, you gain all this free information and not everybody's giving you the full solution. They're just giving you a part strategy. And you're trying to execute on something that you don't know, like the bigger picture. And also you don't have the right daily tasks. In order to actually grow your business, there's only actually a few things that you need to do, but you need to do those things well. And you need to do them each and every day. And you also need to do them at volume as well. So like, keeping focus, being focused on the right things, on the right strategy is mission critical to be able to hit 100K in sales. Without winging it or without wishing and praying it's going to happen, like to engineer it so it works, that's what you need to be able to do. You don't know where your next client is coming from. Again, you don't know who your client is. So you're in all these groups and you can see other people doing what you're doing. It's like, oh yeah, I wish these people were talking to me or buying from me. But again, because you don't have a strategy in place, you don't know how to attract the right people. Maybe even you're afraid of creating posts that position you as an expert in your marketplace or what you do. You're scared of your friends and your family seeing the post that you're posting and they're saying, well, and in fact, this is one of the things that I was scared of right at the beginning. Like my friends on Facebook saying, Andy, who are you to speak like this? Andy, this is not you. We know you as this person. This is not you. And then suddenly I'm coming out on social media on Facebook posting like this, posting, talking about greatness, posting about success, talking about all the things I talked about. It was a fear of mine. I had to get rid of it, and I did, and I'm pleased I did. Right? Are you worried too much about getting it wrong? Right, so you do nothing. Everybody wants to like get it right from the start, and that's never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. Right, even if you hire a coach, you're never going to get it right, and that's one of the reasons why you hire a coach, right? So they can guide you when you get it wrong. Because even though you get the right strategy, there's a lot of things that you need to work out in order to get it right. And that means like, developing your skill set and testing the waters and stuff. Are you scared of upsetting people or coming across salesy so you don't create offers? Again, you get told you shouldn't pitch, you shouldn't sell. Now, there's a way to do it, there's a way not to do it, but majority of people just do not do it. So because they're not making offers, the marketplace don't know that they're in business, they're open for business, or even accepting business. So, you are in sales, right? You are the salesperson. You don't have a sales team. You are the salesperson. So you've got to get used to making offers, but you're making offers at the right time. You don't have the right support at the level that elevates you to the next level, right? So you allow your personal problems to reflect on your business results. I always say, and you probably heard me say this before, that majority of coaches, majority of experts that suffering in, struggling to try and grow their coaching business, right? They don't have a business problem. They have a personal problem that reflects on their business results. And that's so true for majority of people I speak with. Businesses out there, they can see other people buying the solution that they provide, yet they're not buying from them. And when you have the strategy, when you have the know-how, when you have the support, right, yet it's not working for you, chances are it's not the strategy, it's not the marketplace, it's not the offer, it's the problems that you bring to the world in business that's reflecting on your business results. So you need to be able to overcome that as quickly as possible. Now, when it comes to lead gen, right, you lack lead volume right now, right? The things that you need, right, is to level your skill set. You need to level your skill set quickly. And you need volume of leads. You need volume, because right now, right, what you lack in skill set, you can make up in numbers. But when you make up in numbers, that allows you to develop that skill set quicker. So you don't always need mass market volume numbers, right? Does that make sense? So if we just look at the pillars from a higher point of view again, so like traffic, content, conversations, close deals. We keep it simple, right? So the thing is with this, right? If you're starting from the beginning, you are no exception, right? If you don't have an audience right now, you're already late to the game. You need to start building an audience. You need to start building an audience, because the marketplace is getting busier and busier and busier and busier. And there's other people in the marketplace that don't have the skill set. They're just starting now, and they're out there doing the do. Now, you do not want to get left behind, right? You don't want to get left behind. So the sales journey cycle, converting cold prospects into ready buyers, starts with this. All right, everybody starts off cold. And you all, right? You might be like, doing certain things and thinking, well, people aren't buying from me. Why aren't people buying from me? Well, the thing is that, which I'm going to explain in the graph below, is that nobody's ever going to just like come from here. Nobody's ever just hot. People don't start off hot. Everybody starts off cold, right? New audiences start here. Cold. Happened for me, it happened for you, it happened for everybody that's in front of you in your marketplace right now, right? Their marketplace, before they started buying from them, they'd never heard of them before, and they started off as a cold marketplace. So your audience starts off cold, and then it's up to you to then warm them up and then convert them from warm to hot, and then take them from hot to ready. And from ready, that's obviously where they're going to be ready to buy from you, right? So it's critical. right? When you start out, you won't have anyone to talk to. If you're just starting out right now and you don't have an audience, right? Typically, you don't have anybody to sell to. So you need to be able to go out there to position your marketing message in front of your target market to start cultivating this audience. Now, if so, like the starting point, when you first start off, right, your hot marketplace, your warm marketplace does not exist. If you do have a warm marketplace or a hot marketplace, right, and you're not making offers to them, right, then you're leaving money on the table right now. And I suggest you reach out, send me DM, right? Because again, you leave money on the table. If you have hot people or warm, if you have a warm audience and you don't know how to convert it, then like reach out to me and let's have a conversation and let's see if we can help you to convert those quickly. But if you don't have an audience, right, you don't have these people to sell to, so you're going to be spending most of your time here. Not a lot of time, but you're going to be spending most of your time here at the bottom so you can quickly warm them up and get them into position where they're ready. So you're probably thinking, well, Andy, you know, organic's not working for me. So you're probably thinking organic's dead. It takes ages to get market exposure. Posting groups don't work. Okay, so let's like kill that right now, right? So this just like was one simple little bit of content that I created. It is little, right? Inside a group, December of last year, as you can see. And it was just me celebrating a win, right? I had a 12K day, right? Simple as that. And it got over 1,400 pieces of engagement and 430 comments. That is traffic, right? You might be thinking, well, Andy, why is that traffic? Well, the thing is this group is full of coaches. So anybody that's not closing a 12K a day, or anybody who aspires to have a 12K a day, or if anybody aspires to have a large high ticket offer that's going to get their attention. That's going to get their attention. And he got a lot of attention. This is traffic, right? Don't underestimate this. This is what we call a Trojan horse question, right? And I'm not going to go into the psychology behind it right now, but it's the Trojan horse question. That's traffic. How much would you pay using Facebook ads to get tagged to traffic at that volume with that much engagement on? Literally within, I think it was like 3 days. You would spend a lot, right? Also, the 4th of October last year, right? Not as much as the previous one, but this is a different style of content. And it's got 186 engagements and 50 comments. Same again, it's tagged to traffic. The only reason why people would engage and comment on this post is because the content inside the material inside the content is specific and it's designed and engineered and structured to only speak to people that potentially could be my ideal clients. And then we've got this one here that was posted out just a few days ago, right? 16th of March this year. That's got over 131 comments and engagements and 67 comments. Let me just take a step back to this one, right? This post attracted this client. If you watch the interview with Mo, right, Mo just closed a $12,000 client, right? This post attracted Mo. If you look at this post, I know I'm not doing a screenshot of that post, right? But there's another post again that attracted Julie. Well, Julie's the person that actually was the client here that did the $13,500 dollar sale, right? Traffic in a very short space of time frame that cost no money whatsoever. So unless you've been sleeping under a rock for the last 5 years, you already know what these posts are, right? So these are typical posts that we create in order to generate leads. So it's like a two-step post, which is a lead gen post, or a mission post, which is an offer post, value post, right, which is position your expertise in the marketplace, and belief shifting posts, where you're shifting the paradigm. I know I spelled paradigm wrong. post, right? So these are all the type of posts that we create, and potentially you're doing these things as well. If you're not, then you should be doing. But what we do is we understand how to convert people that engage with these posts to people that book calls with us and generate clients from, right? So the big problem is I see most coaches, right? They know all about these posts. They said to me, yeah, I know about belief shifting posts. I know about mission posts, 2-step posts. I know all of that stuff. One, the potentially they're not doing it, or they're not doing it at the level that they should be doing it. Or they don't have the full strategy behind the post, right? They don't know how it really, really works. The truth is they've actually only got part strategy and they don't have the full solution. So it doesn't work, right? Or you might just create a 2-step post and just post it, but it doesn't work. You eat tumbleweeds. Or you might do a mission post, but it doesn't work. You get no interactions. Or you might go into a group and you might type something, but it doesn't work. Or if it does work and you gain exposure, then it's like, wow, amazing. But you can't take likes and comments to the bank. You need to be able to have the full structure, the full solution in order to be able to convert those, right? Does that make sense? So this is one of the strategies that we use on our profile or throughout the full strategy, to be truthful, is first and foremost, like with a cold audience, you need to be able to nurture them. You need to be able to showcase your expertise. So we have a 12-day expert positioning content sequence where we add value first, right? You're not just going to go to an audience that's cold and pitch them straight out of the gate. It's just not going to work, right? You wouldn't want it to happen to you. I wouldn't want it to happen to me. It happens to me, and I know it's not working for them. So first and foremost, we give like our clients full 12-day expert positioning content sequence broken down step by step on each bit of content, with a video on each content that tells them how to frame their content. They just need to inject that content with their flair, their personality, their genius, their steps, what it is they do, so it works for them, right? And then after that, then once the audience has warmed up, and again, doesn't take long, then you can actually start then going into that marketplace and start making offers, doing mission posts and all the other posts. That actually gets people to step up, get off the fence and book calls with you. As well as what we've got as well is a systematic way of prospecting inside inboxes, inside DMs, right? So we can keep on top of all conversations that we're having with everybody that's engaging with that stuff. And I'm not going to go through this step by step, but this is a systematic flow that it allows you to not leave anybody left behind, to understand where all your prospects are, to be able to book calls very, very quickly, to be able to filter them out, and to be able to only book calls with people that like are serious about solving the problem. They're looking for a coach at some level, and they're ready to book a call with you. And then you put them through the client acquisition funnel that I showcased earlier on, which then helps you to pre-qualify them even more. Let me know if you're liking what I'm sharing with you right now, because I am like revealing a lot of stuff that typically I would not reveal. So I am like really pulling back the curtains in this. That's what it takes, right? That's what it takes. I've not held back any punches. I have like given you everything. So I've got a simple offer, and I'm going to love you and leave you, right? So the simple offer is, right now I'm looking for 12 established coaches ready to invest in themselves and their business. Working with me is not free. And why would you expect it to be? And also working with me is not cheap either. Why would you expect it to be? So if you're ready to invest in yourself, you're ready to invest in your business, you're ready to invest in your future business to generate in multiple 6 figures, right? If not this year, first half of next year, depending on how serious you are, how committed you are, how hot you are, then you can go here, andrewmedlin.com/coaching, and we can schedule a call. Just complete this questionnaire and send that over to me. And if we can have a conversation, if I feel as though we can help you, we'll have a conversation to show you what that looks like. If not, then that's no problem at all. We're not here just to close and sell on everybody, right? We don't do that. We're looking for people that are serious, committed, hungry for results, willing to roll the sleeves up, willing to jump in the trenches, willing to be coachable, willing to do the work at the level that commands the results. And that's not everybody, right? That is not everybody. I know that. So we don't take everybody on board. So, but we're willing to have a conversation with you just to find out if you are a fit. So you can go ahead and you can do that now. If you want access to this document that I've created, just type in keyword underneath this training, sales, and either myself or my VA will get that to you at some point today or whenever you comment that in, right? So I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you found that useful. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you've got any questions, ask those questions. And yeah, I've loved creating this for you. I've loved showing up and delivering this for you. Again, you've got any questions, ask those and I'll answer those for you. And I'll look forward to speaking to you very shortly. Bye for now.